doing what you were doing, sleeping in somebody else's bed, God showed up in the middle of your stuff and pulled you up out of what you was in. See, you got to learn when to shout. You know you wasn't looking for God, and you were hoping he didn't find you where you were. But wherever you was, he reached down and grabbed you while you were still in the midst of thinking you were doing your thing. He showed up and pulled you out. And if you would be honest, you know if you'd have been there any longer, it probably would have took you out. But God looked beyond where you was and saw where you were going, and he pulled you. I wish I could get 3 people to just give somebody a high five and tell them I'm glad he snatched me out. I'm glad he got me when he did. I'm glad he found me when he did. Because if you really want to know the truth of the matter, you didn't find God. God found you. You wasn't looking for him, but he found you where you were, and he grabbed you, and he said, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn of me. My burdens are light, and my yoke is easy. God shows up. I'm coming. Woo! He shows up in the middle of nowhere. Jacob goes to Bethel. And can I tell y'all something? Bethel means house of God. It's something about when you get to the house of God. There are some things you can only get when you come to the house. Yeah, you can watch TV and watch tele-evangelism and listen on Facebook, but there's only certain things that you're going to get from the house, because in the house is where the altar is at. And when the altar is there, if you bring your sacrifice, it's something that'll happen in church. Oh, shucks. It's something that'll happen in church that won't happen in your bedroom. It's something that'll happen in church that won't happen in your car. It won't happen at your job. You got to be in the house. You gotta be in the house. You gotta be in the house. That's why in Mark it said it was noised that Jesus was in the house. Because when Jesus is in the house, there's no room for anybody else. Because God heals all manner of sickness and disease. Yeah. He'll show up in the middle of nowhere. I'm almost finished. I promise I am. It was in the middle of nowhere that God made a promise to Jacob. Y'all hear me? He meet you in the middle of your transition. Transitioning from a job. Some folks are on an emotional roller coaster. God says, I'll meet you right there where you're at. In chapter 28, Jacob goes to sleep.